Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here and I hope you're all well. And today I am going to be talking about the Junkers Ju-87B. Not a full history, but I'm talking about a specific item. One of the most famous items of the Stuka. Just on the leading edge of the wheels there you can see a little propeller, and that's the same on both sides. What is that little propeller? That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Jericho Trumpet, or the Jericho Trumpet. The Jericho Trumpet essentially is a wind-driven siren. It's around 7mm wide, and it was mounted on the leading edge of the wings, generally on the landing gear section, on the solid section of the landing gear. And what this siren was there for was for psychological warfare. Now, many of you, and many people say that the Stuka doesn't have a Jericho Horn in game, and you are wrong, it does absolutely have it. Only the B version has it though. Now, you may be asking yourself, why does only one version have it? Yeah, stop talking about the radio, guys. So, the Jericho Horn, or Jericho Siren, Jericho Trumpet, was mounted early in the Second World War. It was suggested by General Ernest Uth originally. Some do credit Mr. A. Hitler for it, but Ernest Uth was the one that suggested it. I would very much believe that, because he was a very, very interesting chap indeed and knew what he was doing. Ernest Uth was a very accomplished pilot from the First World War, an ace of the Great War, and he was the leader of the Luftwaffe in the early days of the Second World War, before he ended up committing suicide due to the poor direction that things were going in the early stages of the war. But that's a story for another day. Anyway, the reason it was suggested was simply because of psychological warfare. Now, what we're doing is, actually pay attention to what I'm doing, is I'm just going to get some altitude here, because we need to get some altitude to get this working. We can't be too low. The Jericho Trumpet? The Jericho Trumpet will only work at certain speeds. It needs to be going, I think it's around 190 miles per hour to start making the iconic noise. So what we'll do is we'll get over our target here, which is a little vehicle way down there. Switch to the pilot view. I'm not sure how well it will be heard in the cockpit, so we'll do a bit of an experiment with that once we get it whirring. What we're going to do is get over our target, we're going to roll, and then we're going to dive on it. Now, the Stuka is one of my favourite planes of the Second World War. It's a very iconic vehicle, and it's just a magnificent plane. So down we go. 3, 2, 1. Go, and you can hear the Jericho siren, the Jericho Trumpet. Not too much inside. You can just about hear it. Now, it's not ultra loud, unfortunately. As we start to lose speed, Switch the engine off. There we go. We've lost speed and the siren has gone off. Effectively, it's a similar sound to an air raid siren. It has a very iconic sound to it. Let's just quickly pull up on YouTube a Jericho Trumpet just to get a real good sound of it. As you can hear, it has a very high-pitched whine to it. And as it disappears, it fades away. And it was a very effective item early on in the war. Now let's just head back to the hangar here, just to do a little bit more talk. Early in the war, it was very effective. It was a real big psychological item. It was for no other reason for psychological use. And what it would do is weaken the enemy's morale by basically the constant sound of the sirens going, coming down, the screech would just drive some soldiers absolutely crazy. And many soldiers after the war still had issues with that noise. When they heard an air raid siren, it would trigger them for the Jericho Trumpet, and they would have flashbacks. It was a terrifying, terrifying thing, but gradually it became less and less effective. Enemies started to know what it was. They started to really not care about it. As the war went on, it became less and less effective. So by around, I think it was 42, there was a whistle device fixed to the edge of some bombs. And this fin produced a similar noise after release and would make that iconic scream and the bomb sound of, you know, the thing you hear in movies all the time, that scary whistle of a bomb coming in. It would basically make it louder. The reason they were removed was because of drag. What they found out was the drag coefficient of it. It caused a lot of drag. When they were removed, the Stuka could gain around about 10 to 20 miles per hour more speed. 20 to 25 kilometers per hour. That's a big advantage. Now, I know it's not a huge amount when you think about it in some terms, but in racing, in flight, you know, an extra 10 miles an hour, an extra 20 miles per hour can mean life or death. If you've got a fighter chasing after you, say you've got a Russian fighter chasing after you. Now your top speed is about 130 miles per hour on the flat in this thing. If you can actually get up to 140 miles per hour, you might be able to outrun it. It gives you that little bit better option, and that's why we only see it on the B variant. Every other variant, including the R, does not have the Jericho Trumpet on board. So if you are wondering why your Stuka doesn't have that fantastic scary whistle, that is simply why. Because every Stuka, as we go on, past the B variants, were not fitted with it. Another reason for that was because of the landing gear as well had a suspension system. Now, if we look at the B variant, we can see it's a solid state system. Now, there was a slight hydraulic system in there, I believe, from memory. And basically, you can just sort of see there's like a little bit of a leading edge. So what would happen is this section would move up. And it wasn't very effective, it wasn't very comfortable. So later variants, as we go on, get better suspension for landing. As you can see, it's got the rubberized system around the edge, it's got better suspension, it allows the pilots to land easier, puts less fatigue on the airframe, generally makes the plane a lot more efficient as well. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Jericho Trumpet. I hope you found this video somewhat interesting. I hope you maybe learnt something new. And if you ever wondered what one looked like, that is exactly what a Jericho Trumpet looks like. It's just a spinning propeller. So yeah, I do hope you found this video interesting. Please give me a like and let me know below what you think. Let me know if you would like it to be louder in game. Let me know what you think of the sound at the moment. Do you think it's too quiet? Do you think it should be louder? Do you wish that every Stuka just had that noise to it because it's just such an iconic sounding item? Alright guys, well this was part of my quick history videos of just single sort of items. So I will try and endeavour to do some more of these in the future, and I will catch you next time. This is Screezler out. Bye bye.